Let's jump to this next story and get into the politics of the day. We have this from Timcast.com. Trump accused of election meddling after endorsing candidates in New York Democratic primary races. I'm sorry, I love this man. This is one of the greatest trolls ever done. Donald Trump endorses lawyer Dan Goldman, who led the impeachment against him, saying lawyer Dan Goldman is running for Congress, New York 10, and it is my great honor to strongly endorse him. I do this not because of the fact that he headed up the impeachment committee and lost, but because he was honorable, fair, and highly intelligent. While it was my honor to beat him and beat him badly.
Favorite part.
Dan Goldman has a wonderful future ahead. Like, I don't know how anyone sees that, anyone with any modicum of intelligence, and believes Trump is literally endorsing the guy when he's doing like neg hits. You know what that is? Mm-hmm. It's like a backhanded compliment at these guys. He endorsed several other people, but here's the best part. Yu Lin Niao, who is a Democrat, so I looked her up. She's a Democrat assembly member running for New York 10, took the bait and said, Donald Trump just endorsed my multimillionaire opponent in case you need a reminder of what the stakes are. New York 10, choose your fighter. She couldn't help it. They can't help themselves. Trump plays them like a fiddle. And now he's got them infighting over whether or not he actually supports this guy.
This is what he has to do. He has the weight of the establishment pushing against him right now. And I've been an advocate of like, if someone's coming at you and putting their full force into you, one of the best things you can do is move so that you're not there anymore. And that all that pressure that Donald Trump is like just goes into this nowhere land and then they end up falling forward. Then you reappear and then you're still back to, who you are.
The prophecy has been fulfilled, ladies and gentlemen. From the Babylon Bee. Ingenious move. Trump supports impeachment, forcing Democrats to oppose. November 18th, 2019. The Bee does it again.
Wow.
The thing is, his statement has so much early 2016 energy to me. Like, there was a point in his presidency where he really seemed to sort of get lost. I felt like maybe he didn't have the correct support when he was already in the White House. But while he was campaigning, and throughout we see it come and go, he really is just this complete unpredictable force. You can't really tell what he's going to do, and he doesn't want to adhere to any traditional standards. So it's why it's so funny. Like, this is very much a true spark of Trump to me, as like when he first announced that he was coming to president. It reminds me of all of the debates he did, his booing of Hillary Clinton on stage. Like, he doesn't behave as they would like him to. I'm sure Goldman is like, what do I do? Do I release a statement saying no thank you?
This is so much of what Trump does is what I've been talking about when I say throw a pie figuratively. Like, people in power need to set a tone, need to call out the BS, need to make a point. Trump does this all the time. Mm-hmm. It's quite incredible. But I have to wonder where we go in this country as this is the current level of politics that we have. I mean, they take the bait. Donald Trump trolls the Democrats. What do you think? I
think too, there is a level of yesterday I was looking at this article. It was 8 of the 10 Republicans who voted against Trump are out, and it's interesting because I think he's trying to show the Democrats that he has influence within their party, not in the way they're expecting. He has more influence in politics than anyone predicts or is used to. It's very unusual to have a leader who can actually bipartisanly reach across the aisles and be like, it's not just the Republican primaries that I can influence the Democrats too. He's not even in office right now.
I love it. Can you go back to the actual tweet? What I find odd about the original one, the first one on the left, is there's a dot.
Well, it's because there's more.
I just mean everything about this.
There's 4 dots.
There's 4 dots. Everything about I just look at it and I see psychological operations campaign. It's like a psyop, right? It's exactly what you do when you want to win hearts and minds. And if it's a real endorsement or if it's not a real endorsement, what we realize now is that everybody's talking about it.
Yep.
And that's what you need when you're trying to campaign early on. We're 3 years out, two and some change out, and we'll start feeling the effects of that tomorrow. We're feeling it today. And so this is only going to get more extreme and more difficult.
But how much of this is Donald Trump sitting down with a group of tacticians being like, we need to craft the perfect message? Or it's him lounging in a chair watching Tucker Carlson being like, I endorse this guy, and he grabs a thing of Cheetos and then just
I feel it's both of those. I think he's good on a whim, but I also think deliberately People forget he's a very crafty business person, and being in business myself for a short period of time, I understand the tactics, and even tactics that I've brought across the military aisle in planning and strategy. He is using all of these tactics to bear, and I think he's unpredictable. He would be unconventional or irregular in his warfare approach, while the rest of the establishment that he's draining, is very conventional.
I'm just thinking about, they call him a fascist. They claim he's like worse than Hitler. Could you imagine if Donald Trump like ever did become a dictator, and then history is talking about how he rose to power, and it's like, well, he called Rosie O'Donnell fat pig, and then he made a tweet endorsing his opponents. It's just like, wow. History repeats itself, history rhymes, but I think we're getting something fresh with Donald Trump to a certain degree.
I gotta ask, is this the 4D chess we were promised? That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
I like it.
Think?
If you hate somebody, that they are controlling you. If you have so people that he's done that, he's taken control of people's minds, whether they like him or not. Well, especially the ones that hate. That's a form of 4D chess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading the end of this. Like, winning against him made me realize how just very talented I am.
It's amazing. Okay, let me read it. So I read the first part. He goes on to say, he will be very compassionate and compromising to those within the Republican Party, and will do everything possible to make sure they have a fair chance at winning against the radical left Democrats, who he knows are destroying our country. I would like to thank Dan for fighting so hard for America and for working so tirelessly to stop, quote, Trump, end quote. He was not easy to beat, but winning against him made me realize just how very talented I am.
Most won't read the second one, though.
I'm so sorry. This just like gets better and better.
That's great.
I hope one person said to him like, "Oh, it'd be hilarious if you endorsed the Democrat," and then he's like, "I'm done."
Let's do it right now.
He's like sitting in like his friend's basement. They're playing pool with the game on, and they're like, "Dude, you should endorse the Democrats." Like, "Oh, I'm totally gonna do it."
It would make him freak out, and they're like, "He's like, okay."
That's what I love.
Somebody super chatted him and was like, "You won't do it." And he was like, "Oh, yes, I will."
Yep.
Yeah, I think maybe he has realized that conventional tactics are not the way you win against the liberal economic order right now, because they're just conventionally using brute force, with the FBI raid on the House and things like that. So now he's taking an unconventional approach.
We saw the Democrats funding Republican messaging, and the idea was that it was going to hurt Trump to do this. I think he was like, okay, I'll play the game. You want to play that game?
Yeah.
So think. The Democrats are like, Trump endorsed these guys, so let's prop them up. Then in the general, they'll lose. So Trump says, okay, I'll endorse your guys instead. And does.
That's what I mean. I think they underestimate how much influence he has over everyone. Like we see it as like, oh, it's just those right people, those conservatives, the MAGA base, but it's really not. Like Trump is an institution in and of himself, and I think, he is sort of reviving the same kind of disruptive energy that made him stand out initially, which made people cover him when he was running in 2016, because they were like, what is he doing?
Well, he put his name in quotes too, which is nice, because it shows that he's not like he was against me. He sees that he's against the idea of what Trump might be.
Good point.
But someone was Steve Bannon's mullet responded to Yulin saying, that's just weird. Why would he endorse Goldman? And she said he said it out loud to stop the left. I do not believe, I'm sorry, I can't believe that this Yulin woman, if I'm pronouncing that right, actually believes it's a real endorsement.
Maybe she doesn't know the guy.
Do you think she seriously thinks he...
Maybe she's playing her own psyop, but I don't buy into it. I think she literally probably believes that it was an endorsement.
Maybe she's betting off headlines. Like enough people are going to see Trump endorses Goldman. She's like, they aren't going to look into it. I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
But that would mean that she knows she's lying to her potential constituents.
She's a politician.
So, right. Is she lying for votes, or is she just really that dumb?
I'm going with lying for votes for 500.
Okay.
I'm going to go with...
Neither one seems like a good look,
Yeah.
My guess is ignorant that she doesn't know that was the guy that tried to impeach Trump.
No, he wrote that. He headed the impeachment committee. It's in the endorsement.
Damn, and I was wrong.
But we're also, here's the credit to Trump that's due that a lot of people don't talk about. This is a tactician that killed ISIS. This dude, we forget about ISIS and all the problems that it was taking over the world. We were about to go to World War X. He did that on his own accord as a commander in chief, and nobody talks about
they ragged on him for it.
They did.
They ragged on him. They said austere scholar.
How did he do it?
Well, I think he used a lot of different tactics, but he used special operations, but it wasn't advertised as a war. So it wasn't campaigning with media outlets that were telling all the information. It was a closed, compartmentalized operation that was very deliberate, using Ranger Battalion, using the best special mission units in the world, and crushed those guys. And if it wasn't for that, I mean, the things that we saw on the TV when ISIS and their propaganda was affecting the world, everybody was like in fear. You saw little kids running around with guns, killing innocent people from propaganda videos from ISIS. That was a thing. Like, we lived in that time, and then all of a sudden we woke up one day like COVID and it didn't exist. And it's because of those tactics that he brought to bear. So I say that because he's deeply seated in strategy and understanding tactics on all levels. And I think this is an easy PsyOps campaign for him.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.